Hey guys, did you see on the news today where Nancy Pelosi said that tomorrow, Friday, October 9th, that she and some people will be getting together to study the 25th Amendment and see if they can find a way to constitutionally force Donald Trump to step down from power until later on in the year, or possibly permanently. So before you fall into the conspiracy theories and the hype of talking heads on TV, let's look at the 25th Amendment and see what it actually says. The 25th Amendment was revised in 1992 to take care of situations such as what happens if a president gets shot, say Ronald Reagan, who's in charge till he recovers? What if he refuses to step down? What if, and all of these theories start to fly. So we've made a plan for that. According to Article 4 of the 25th Amendment, here's that plan. If a president cannot perform his duties, whether it be for, say, 3 times presidents have stepped down for most of a day so they could get a colonoscopy. It's kind of hard to fight the Russians while you're under anesthesia. Well, then the vice president takes over, and all this requires is a letter sent to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Congress, and just say, look, VP's in charge for a while. I'm going to be under the weather. If something happens to the president and he refuses to admit that he can't do his job, let's go back in history to Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson had a stroke. He was incapacitated and didn't tell anybody about it. His wife ran the country for a little while because he was afraid he'd be replaced. Well, if we get in a situation like that again, excuse me, say, for example, the president gets COVID and refuses to acknowledge how bad it is because there's an election coming up, then if the vice president and the cabinet all think that the president is incapable of doing his job, not doing it to their satisfaction, just or to their party's pleasure, just doing his job, then they can send letters to the president pro tempore and the Speaker of the House and the House of Representatives and say, we don't think this guy is all there. I don't think he can actually do his job. We're going to take over for a little while. And he can immediately assume the acting president position. He is officially acting as president. So what happens to the president? Nothing yet. Obviously, he gets a chance to appeal. So the president of the United States would go to the president pro tempore of the Senate, leader of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and would appeal their case and say, look, I'm totally functional, totally capable of doing my abilities. Obviously, I'm right here. I mean, how hard is it really, right? And can take his role back. It's that simple. If the vice president and the cabinet still don't think that he can do his job, they have 4 days to appeal the president getting his job back. And they must appeal to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I think you see a pattern going on here. At this point, Congress must assemble. Congress has 48 hours to assemble and start debating, can the president do their jobs correctly? Congress has 21 days from the time they start assembling to make a decision. If you can get 2/3 majority of both the House and the Senate, then the president can be forced to step down as being incompetent, or acting presidential power is given permanently to the vice president. So what are we really looking at here? What we're really looking at is, first, Mike Pence would have to agree to do all of this stuff, and the entire president's cabinet would have to agree, and the Republican head of the Senate would have to agree. And if it did go into a debate, then what would happen there is you'd need 2/3 of both houses to agree, and you're never going to get that on anything whatsoever. What would happen to President Trump? He would just be hanging out. It would be like a paid vacation for him until this thing is settled. Meanwhile, you would have acting President Pence, and he would still be on the ballot for November. So the only thing you would really accomplish is you would tie the Senate up in pointless hearings, keeping them from focusing on the Supreme Court nomination. Keep in mind, it was not long ago that Nancy Pelosi said on the news that they would come up with ways to block the advancement of the Supreme Court nomination process. And she would use, let's see if I can quote it as close as I can, that she had a lot of arrows in her constitutional quiver, right? Plan B, according to Nancy Pelosi's own statements, is to try to impeach William Barr, because any government official can be impeached. From here on out, I would expect massive shows trying to shut down the Senate. If you can just shut the Senate down for 30 days, then they can stop the nomination process until the election happens. Don't worry, guys. You're not going to lose your president. There's not going to be a coup, because that just can't be done according to the Constitution. They can, however, play the game and pull all of this stuff out, even if it's dirty. This is in the Constitution. We'll see if they'll use it or not.